Ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing tonight? Great. How are we doing, you guys? I'll shake your hand. Tony, how you doing? That's what I like to hear. We are Team Funz, and we're here to pitch you today Corporate Carnage. I'm Peter Rudlin.
And I'm Joel. So, Corporate Carnage. It's a top-down dungeon crawler, so think Hotline Miami. It's done in a simple pixel art style, so think games like Hammer Watch. It's fast-paced, quick restart, and a hub-level selection system, so think with the quick restart of Hotline Miami pressing R. We've got FMV cutscenes, so think Command and Conquer, so that's something pretty interesting. And we like to think we've got a great sense of humour, but without intro there, we might be very wrong on that account. Target audience. We're targeting on a PC platform with age range between 16 and 34. With the content in our game, it's going to be quite gory, is 16, and we're marketing towards Europe and North America. You know, being that these people in Europe, most of them can speak English, and in North America that's the same, so it'd be easy to localise to target. So market research, released on Steam, on Steam Greenlight, and this allows us to get the project funded in some way. And it also allows for feedback from our audience. The Steam community is numbering in the millions, you see here. In the US and Europe, together numbering over 40 million, and it's ever growing. And with Steam Workshop, it allows mods, so the community, like think Halo custom games, you can make their own maps, extends the shelf life of the game, makes it more interesting. And it's important to make a good first impression on Steam, because Steam users are famous for, buying games in sales and then never touching them again. So our story. Our game is more focused on gameplay, fun gameplay, rather than, we're not making the Last of Us or anything. We want a fun gameplay experience rather than a groundbreaking story. So our characters. We've got Office Guy, he's the protagonist, he's the former employee of the company. We've got Dodgy Richard, he's the vendor of the game. He will give you all of your items in the game, for a cost, of course. And members of the board, these are people you'll meet sporadically up the tower, who will act as the bosses, which we hope will be unique in both their moveset and style. So the story, you're Office Guy, and you're on a journey of redemption up a huge skyscraper, killing enemies level by level. And you will start this by clearing a lobby area, which will act as a tutorial zone, where you'll learn the mechanics of the game, be introduced to the vendors, and then begin your assault using the elevator on the floors. And during this, each level, you'll have the chairman who delivers exposition, so think of him as the handsome Jack of the game, this funny guy who will keep you company. And upon reaching the top floor, you'll be met with the chairman, and that is where the ending boss fight will ensue. So the game levels. Our game takes place in a surreal recreation of New York, think of Wall Street and their skyscrapers there. And the building will start off at the bottom with reception, with cafeteria, with security. And as you move up, they'll become more and more bizarre. And so we have a gaming studio in there, to break the fourth wall. We've got a film studio, and we've also got a head of human dismemberment. These levels won't just vary in aesthetic style, but also the mechanics. So there's a level where under construction are there, and this level will be open to the elements. The player and objects in the environment will be able to be blown about, and there'll be some secure objects you can hide behind. And also there's a level in complete darkness where you'll have to navigate with a torch, and enemies will react to this darkness and charge you. So it changes the pace of the game. We want to make each level as unique as possible.
Right, the enemies and bosses of the game are going to have three main enemy types. You can be your standard, your fast attack, and your brawler enemies, and they're all going to have different damage, output, input, attack strategies, so players are going to have to learn how to defeat these individually. And while there's only 3 enemy types in the game, they are going to change aesthetically every single level you're on. So it depends on what floor you're going to be on. So for example, if you're on a construction-based floor, then they're going to be wearing builder outfits, as seen by this professional animation. And each floor of the game, as I said, is going to feature new enemy designs. So one of the biggest draws to our game is going to be our constant use of boss fights at the end of every single level. At the end of every level, the player is going to encounter a new boss, which is going to have a new design, new enemies, new attack strategies, and it's going to be very different to the other enemies in the game, so the player is going to have to learn how to defeat them. There's going to be new weapons throughout the game as well. So throughout every single level, every single floor, you're going to have weapons designed around the aesthetic of the floor. So for example, a kitchen-based level is going to feature funny kitchen, pans, knives, that kind of good stuff. Next up, we've got this is our currently devised floors and the boss's relation to them. So we've got some pretty simple ones, such as reception, we've got a general manager, security floor, chief security officer, and I've said before, some weird ones like the head of human dismemberment, being Dirk. I'll go all around later. So for the gameplay features of the game, of course, remember the main ones for an action game has to be our combat. I'm going for very much a fast-paced, non-stop, intense and challenging combat style. Most of the weapons in the game are going to be melee-based, and this is because we want the player to keep on moving from enemy to enemy. Don't want to be stuck in one position using a ranged weapon and camping out. So the player is going to only have one weapon at a time though. So he's going to have access to loads of different weapons, but he's going to have to theoretically think what is going to be useful for me right in this situation. Although these weapons are going to be used in different ways. For example, every single weapon in the game can be thrown, so it's a little melee weapon, a little ranged weapon as well as a melee weapon. But there are some items that can be used in multiple different ways. For example, our coffee cup. The coffee cup can either be swung as a melee weapon. You can either launch the contents of the coffee at an enemy, or you can drink the coffee as an ability enhancer to boost your speed. So I said the coffee got some ability enhancers as well. These can be little consumables and games that boost your damage output, boost your health, that kind of stuff, for a short period of time. And in each mission, there's going to be a fairly simple objective that the player has to work towards. So it's just going to be kind of things that reach a certain area, capture a certain objective, kill a certain amount of enemies. Although the main draw is it's going to be more based around their score, on how they were finished leveling. So they're going to receive the score on how well they're proud to level and all that, based on their time, how many enemies they killed, how much damage they took. We're going to have a bit of character customization as well. So it's, get a bit, not just be able to choose the character's weapons, also have to choose some of his clothes at the same time. Hats, tops, backpacks. Got a couple of unique selling points for our game as well. So the first has to be our FMV. We're not going to have any cutscenes in the game at all. It's all going to be acted out by the three of us with very corny acting as FMV videos. Now there's going to be some pixel art as well. Our game is going to be modelled and stylised, which sets it apart from the crowd. At the moment, there's not really that many action-packed, comedy-filled games like ours that are set in a pixel style. And non-stop humour, we plan to keep the player with a smile across his face the entire time. Whether it's going to be from dodgy business one-liners that are going to be periodically installed throughout the game, or the comical characters, or even the FMVs. It's all going to be hilarious. For example, the characters in our game, Dodgy Richard, as mentioned before, but to his friends, dodgy dick.
No set difficulty for the game, easy, medium or hard. The game gets more difficult as the game progresses, as you get through the different levels. The enemies will need more skill to defeat. Players use money collected throughout levels to buy equipment at the vendors in the reception, such as weapons and consumables. And using this equipment gives bonuses over equipment you find throughout the level. Certain items will increase the office guy's stats, and different weapons will have different damage types, such as sharp weapons cause bleeding damage, and blunt weapons will cause stun damage and have the chance to knock back enemies. Certain weapons would be found in different areas as you progress through the game. So, in the construction zone, you'd have access to tools such as sledgehammers and drills. And these weapons can be used at the beginning of the game and until you run out of durability at the beginning of the level. And the player will move quickly through the level, killing out enemies to continue on to the next one. And when you die, you can quickly restart the level to keep the game flowing. And much like the predictive gameplay of games like Angry Birds, you can complete a level really quickly move on to the next one. Corporate Carnage will be designed to be controlled with the keyboard and mouse, although there will be controller support and options for remapping the keys. On PC, on the keyboard, W, A, S and D movement keys that guide Office guide and the movement keys. Office guide's weapons will be aimed by the mouse, and you'll always look towards the cursor, similar to games such as Hotline Miami. The left mouse button is used to fire or attack with a weapon that Office Guide has equipped. This could be shooting a gun, attacking with a melee weapon, or using a consumable such as coffee for boosting speed. Pushing space throws whatever is in his hand, such as grenades, random objects, or coffee, which causes splash damage and scalds enemies. R reloads weapons quickly, and E interacts with objects such as doors, drawers, or briefcases containing loot. And with the controller, the shoulder buttons will use and throw items. This is a basic look at what the user interface will look like. The crosshair mouse cursor it's followed by a dotted line which shows Office Guide's line of sight. And the enemies don't have to be, the cursor doesn't have to be on the enemies as long as they're in the line of sight. Pixel art bar at the bottom shows your health, money, ammo, and the currently equipped weapon. And the hood at the edges and the bottom will get slowly spattered in blood, or pixelated blood, as you get more kills. And this won't be distracting as it won't cover anything important. The icons at the top will be used to show different items in the game, such as the money, different ammo types, and consumables. Different ammo types will have different ammo, such as staples, nails, rocks, and of course bullets. And the interface in general will be simple, so the player can focus on the gameplay and not be distracted. We chose to have our cutscenes as FMV because the real film will contrast with the pixel aesthetic of the main game. We thought this was an interesting idea because it would be funny to see the cheesy videos in between some levels. This is also done in a game called Roundabout, which has a cartoony style and game and very cheesy FMVs for comedic value and storytelling. And the cutscenes will show important story points such as Office Guy discovering evil schemes of the company and him getting his revenge against the boss. There will only be about 5 of these short cutscenes. This is storyboard for an FMV you're about to see at the end of this pitch. There are multiple jokes and puns as the game is funny, but there is also a little bit of action, and I hope you enjoy that when that comes.
We've got a couple of bonus materials in the game as well. So we've got online rankings, as before. You're going to get a score for your prowess on each mission you complete. So these rankings, pretty simple. If you get a high enough score, you're going to be placed upon a leaderboard. Although there's only going to be so many places on this leaderboard, people all over the world are going to contend for it. So you have to be really good to get up there. These rankings are going to be split down to 3 different categories. It's going to be all-time highest, monthly highest, and daily highest. A couple of collectibles in the game as well. So audio tapes can be scattered around the map. These are going to be featuring the boss talking, speaking some of his evil and dastardly plans he's come up with. We have Richard's masterpiece, which is another item which is going to be scattered around different floors, and it's said it's a small image, inappropriate crude drawings that Dodgy Richard has drawn about the boss and tore it up and it's scattered around the building. Achievements and Steam cards are also going to be implicated in the game. These encourage players to come back and replay the game. Some items from DLC as well. There. So we're going to have a digital soundtrack and digital art book. This is going to be released with the game. Allows to give the player a little bit of an insight into the background of the game and what went into making it. And the first expansion for the game is going to be called Under the Office We Go. And it's going to be very similar to the start of the game, or the first main game, except you're not going to be working your way up through an office, you're going to be working your way down through it. You're going to be working your way through the basement levels of the same building you were in before, eventually to the centre of the earth. And in this DLC, you're going to encounter new monsters, enemies, weapons, all that good stuff. Got with aesthetics and in-game items. You know, new in-game weapons will be purchasable through DLC. New game hubs, new designs and layouts for them, and some new clothing for the player.
Now this is the moment we've all been waiting for, I presume, anyway.
Office guy? What are you doing here? Get your things and get out!
I just came to get my revenge. I'll let you go out with a bang. Father. Mercy. It's CEO. This is a hostile takeover.
Thank you for listening. Any questions?